Hey there everybody, it's Alex here from VG247.com and I'm joined on this video by James.
Hi.
And we're taking a bit of a look at Dying Light Bad Blood, which I played at Gamescom, and I figured I would invite James to come along and have a bit of a look because you also saw, I don't think you played, right? You saw Dying Light 2.
Yeah, no, it was a hands-off presentation at the Techland booth at Gamescom.
Right, so this is obviously quite a different thing. This is based on all the tech from the original Dying Light, but it is a battle royale game that's going to be free to play, which is pretty nuts. Just because of the structure, because obviously it's player versus player, but then versus a lot of enemies as well.
Yeah, it looks like an interesting mix of kind of sort of like the Dying Light core loop, and then a bit of battle royale chucked in there for good measure as well.
Well, yeah. So I mean, what we obviously just saw me jump off like off something, jump up something, climb up it with the parkour, just like you expect in Dying Light, and then actually kill an NPC and then collect a sample, and that's the core thing about this. So basically, just run down the absolute basics. It is a certain number of players. It is 12 players. I couldn't remember how many for a second there. It's 12 players, and eventually a helicopter's going to come and get you. The island's obviously filled with zombies. But what you're wanting to do is head to these like infection points and collect samples of the zombie disease. And when you collect enough samples, the like the evil umbrella style corporation who wants the zombie juice for bad reasons or good reasons or whatever will then send in a helicopter to pick you up and rescue you.
Right.
So basically it's the first person to get the most samples, and then when somebody collects enough samples for the helicopter to be called in, the helicopter gets called in for everyone, at which point it becomes a free-for-all where everyone dashes for the helicopter.
Right.
And obviously that helicopter's coming for the guy who collected all those samples, but one thing you can do is get more samples by killing other people and taking the samples that they've collected off them.
Right.
So that's where this sort of battle royale thing comes into it. But
yeah.
I thought it was really interesting because, you know, you've still got this, like, you know, this right here is fully a fight against regular ass enemies, much as you would get in full Dying Light.
Yeah, and it doesn't look easy, right? It's not like they're complete pushovers. Like you're still having to kind of work a little bit hard to get what you need to.
Yeah, I definitely think if you see there's a heal up there because I picked up a med pack.
Yeah.
I think if you don't play things carefully, then you can definitely end up in a situation where you'll be killed by the regular enemies, and also you can end up in a situation where one skirmish leaves you with low health, and then that means you can't collect more samples until you find a med pack, because if you get into a fight, and also whenever you're near those outbreak points, which are marked on the map with the with those sort of orange symbols. And you can see a bunch of them have been struck off. But when you get towards the end of the game and there's not that many of them left, then you're in a situation where it's like, oh, everyone's going to be going for these one or two, depending on how many people are left alive.
Yeah.
And that means sometimes you end up in skirmishes where, and there will be one a bit later in this video, but you end up in skirmishes where you have actually got 2 or 3 real players fighting around real zombies as well, because they want to be the one to clear this place out and take the samples.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's pretty unique, I think. And the thing that I really like about it is it's a battle royale game, but my big problem with, and I'm not the biggest Fortnite player, so you might correct me on this, I'm more of a Battlegrounds player, but my problem with Battlegrounds is that matches take 30 or 40 minutes and it's just a bloody nightmare.
Yeah, if you try to go deep every time, it does take a long time to get from match to match.
Yeah, and matches take a long time, whereas I've played this a couple of times now. So I played it back at GDC, and I really liked it back at GDC. I did a write-up on the site, which I'll link in the video description, just saying how I thought it was a cool concept. This build seems to be a little bit quicker. As you can see, here's a real guy also making a run for the helicopter, and this is the situation you then end up in.
Yeah.
But this guy don't think he's going to stand much of a chance. I should note also that I don't know who is who, but for people keeping score, Digital Foundry and Eurogamer are both in this match. But I don't think that was either of them. But there you go. So by staying in that zone and beating off the last other alive guy, you know, although he might not be the last one alive. No, there's one more, I think. But the point is, if they don't get over here in 15 seconds and stop me in 15 seconds, then away I go and I win. And so that's the big thing about how this plays out, is that idea of you almost have a single player task that then gives way to this battle royale concept. And I really like the idea. But yeah, so I got distracted by the guy appearing. So what I was saying was that I played this at GDC and it was pretty good back then. Playing it at Gamescom now, which is this build, it just seems quite a bit more refined. And the big thing I'd say is it feels a lot quicker and a lot more weighty. They seem to have gone, right, we want to pick up the pace even more. And I think that's actually made it better. And it's sort of this weird combination. There isn't really going to be any other Battle Royale game like this, because obviously the parkour movement of Dying Light is not going to be something that's going to be replicated in something like Battlegrounds or Fortnite or whatever.
No. Because it's already the basis of a game in itself, and then they kind of wrapped it up in a different skin almost. Yeah,
and the irony is, I mean, we will see. This is the lobby, by the way. This isn't a match. Thus, people just acting like dicks, as you always do in this. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. But what I'd say is, of the games that aren't Battle Royale, that are trying to shoehorn Battle Royale in, this feels like one of the ones where they found a great way to sort of combine the best of both worlds. Whereas I'm really curious to see what Battle Royale is going to look like in Battlefield, for instance, because Battlefield is more based. It has a more methodical style usually than what you get in Battle Royale.
It's definitely an interesting twist on the genre, really, isn't it? Because when you're talking about things like Battlefield, I think they're still trying to go for the straight last player standing wins, aren't they?
Yeah.
Whereas with this, it's not quite aping the other games that have kind of come before. It's got a twist on the objective that you're trying to achieve, and it's just different, isn't it?
Well, the other thing is, the other thing that I think makes a big difference is guns are really rare, and if you find them, you're gonna have, like, 15, maybe 25, maybe 30 shots, depending on what type of gun you get.
Yeah.
At which point, that changes the game, because obviously in Battlegrounds or Fortnite, if you don't have a gun, you're just screwed.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that'll also be the case in Battlefield. The one thing to note is this is a free-to-play game. So they're doing like a founders pack that does cost money, and that actually gives a glimpse into what the monetization is going to be like. So it's a free-to-play game, but there's going to be skins and costumes for your character and masks you can wear and all that sort of stuff.
All that sort of stuff.
And then also the same sort of thing you get in Battlegrounds, where and Fortnite, for a matter of fact, where you earn currency by winning and stuff like that, and then that currency can be spent. But if you buy the Founders Pack, you get a bunch of currency to begin with and all that sort of stuff. But it does seem like it's just all going to be, they're just hoping that, see, this guy's in trouble now.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean, like you have this situation where, see, there's still zombies here, but we were worried about each other, and so, I very nearly died because, and I very nearly die again here because I'm an idiot, and I think, oh, all the zombies are dead, and what I don't realise is there's like a spitter standing on top of that truck who's spitting, and he's quite difficult to get to because I don't have a ranged weapon, which is so often the case in Dying Light. I don't know why I tried to do that again. So you can see also I just picked up the samples that guy already had, and I'm having to be really careful now because I've got barely any health. So tell me a little bit about, while we let this footage play out and let people watch, what did you? I'm sure you're gonna cover this on the site in detail at some point, but what's the deal with Dying Light 2? Got like 4 minutes.
Yeah. So the interesting thing, kind of watching this, is that it seems like a little bit of a bridge between the two games, and that you had Dying Light, the original, came out at the start of 2015, right?
Yeah.
And I'm quite interested to kind of, just before we touch on Dying Light 2, get your perspective of where this kind of sits in it. Because does it feel, when you're playing it, like a Dying Light 1.5, or is it pretty much the same as the first one?
I think 1.5 would probably be a vaguely fair description, just in the sense that it definitely, you can tell it's based on the same back end.
Yeah.
But the things they've done to sort of make the game feel speedier and more immediate really make it feel like a completely different. It's really difficult to explain because it feels like a completely different game, except when you're doing the parkour stuff, and then you're like, oh, this is Dying Light, you know?
Yeah, that's quite interesting. Because from what I saw of Dying Light 2, it was more like an extension of the first game. Because, well, it's pretty much what you'd expect from a sequel, right? But the demo that I saw was, as I said, a hands-off presentation of how the player kind of gets to what we saw in the demo from E3.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know, the part with the water tower, and you can decide what to do with it, and there are different consequences based on the different things that you can, the kind of different factions in the game that you can side with. So we got a bit of a look at how you actually kind of get to that, and it's, as I say, there's a lot similar with the first game, but the systems have just been kind of expanded on and fleshed out a little bit more. So you've still got the same slick kind of parkour maneuvers as you do in this game, and that's obviously a huge part of Dying Light as a series. But they've doubled the amount of kind of parkour moves that you can do. So they've tried to kind of push the boundaries on what you can, how you can get around, really. And at the same time, they've tried to expand the kind of tech behind it as well. And you can see that from the more kind of physics-based objects that you get in the world that you can kind of swing around corners and things like that. Because you can see in the game,
doesn't have that.
Yeah, you can see in the in Bad Blood here that everything that you can climb on is very, very static, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
And so that's how they're trying to expand it in Dying Light 2, and they're kind of going to include some more kind of platform puzzle elements as well. Part of the demo that we saw to actually get up to the top of that water tower was something that they're calling like a parkour puzzle, where you have to use your stamina meter in a tactical way, because you won't have enough stamina to climb the obstacles in any other way than the right way.
Oh, okay. So it's literally a platform puzzle, basically.
Yeah. So you have to kind of take stock of everywhere you go, and then you have to execute those moves with enough sort of finesse and skill to be able to get up there in time.
Oh, nice.
So that's quite an interesting way to. There isn't just you can do backflips now or whatever. It's an actual kind of way to expand the kind of gameplay side of it as well, which I thought was quite interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing that I like about it is definitely that. Look at me, so close to death. Close to death. The thing that I like about what they're doing is, you know, they're expanding out their universe of this game, but with two very different approaches, it seems. And I feel like this could be, you know, I know there's a lot of battle royale out there, but I feel like this could be something that could have some success. And I feel like they've done the smart thing in that they've built it off the previous game, saved a bit of money, going to put it out free to play and see what happens, rather than, you know, doing the fully fledged sequel thing, which they're going to do with the proper sequel, right?
Yeah, exactly. Is there a release date for this yet?
So there's not as far as I know, there's not like a final release date other than them saying it will be out this year. But the Founders Pack thing is launching in September at some point, so it is literally next month at some point. And this definitely feels, when I saw it at GDC, which is obviously March or April, sometime around then. No, it's March, right? When I saw it at GDC, it definitely felt like here's a rough idea. This now feels like a real idea for it. This now feels like more than an idea. It feels like an actual polished video game. So early access in September, and then release sometime before the end of the year, they hope.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good. I'm really, really into it, and you can see now I'm sort of trying to decide what to do. And spoilers, what I decide to do is, I remember Ian Higton from Eurogame was sitting opposite me and rushing towards the end, and then he got killed around about here, around about this time, I remember. That's probably him. And and then I rush with only 25 health towards the helicopter because I don't want the guy to escape, and then you'll see what happens. But yeah, that's Dying Light Bad Blood, and Dying Light 2 also mentioned. I guess you'll be able to read more about both on the site. You're going to do something for Dying Light 2 as well?
Yeah, definitely. I'll have full impressions of what I saw up on the site soon. Cool,
awesome. Well, thanks for joining me, dude. I'm quite pumped to play this, and I'm quite pumped to see more Dying Light 2 and read in detail what you thought. But yeah, so that's it for now. Bye, James. Thank you.
Have a good one, Alex.
And until next time, everyone, don't forget to like, subscribe, all that rubbish. See ya.